Marnie, how are you today?
I am good. I'm
I
good.
am so happy that we're together and I'm so excited about this conversation.
Me too.
Yep, you've done a lot, Marnie, and you've accomplished a lot. You represent a lot and you're very intentional. Tell us a little bit about Marnie.
Okay. Well, I am first and foremost a daughter, and I'm the oldest of four. I am a wife. I'm a mother, a sister, businesswoman, a woman of faith. Just all of those things, really. All of those things make me who I am.
And you are a phenomenal leader.
Yeah.
Marnie, how do you define leadership?
I'm a leader that believes in leading from the front. So for me, anyone can be a leader. It's just really taking accountability and just having a vision. And I believe that leadership comes with vision and intention. I've been in a leadership role for a lot of years, but I believe it's not just being a leader in a corporate space or in your workspace. I mean, you frankly could be a leader in whatever situation that you're in. So it's kind of my life's passion when it comes to that, right? And it's just a matter of just setting an example. So something as simple as you taking on a task or you having a vision and having other people to follow you. But leadership is about influence and vision
Yes.
and being able to inspire people to do things that they just never thought that they can do. And
Wow.
that kind of, that makes me feel good.
When you think about one of your, I would say, strongest examples of great leadership, who comes to mind for you?
I mean, I think honestly, most people probably would have, a public figure, or they would have a civil rights leader. But for me, honestly, it's really been the people in my life. So I would say from my great grandmother to my grandmother that I grew up with to my mom. They represent leadership to me because they are people that have really they've gone above and beyond. They're selfless. They have established framework for generation and generations of their children. My mom's mom, that's what leadership means to me. So there's plenty of global leaders, world leaders, but frankly, I aspire to have the same passion that those women had in their what we would call just day-to-day life. So those are the leaders to me. I mean, when folks say like, who are your heroes and who do you look after, that's my foundation. So for me, those are the examples that I pull from when I'm in any situation or when I have to make a decision. It's the foundation with my moments with them in the summer, or watching my mom work 2-3 jobs. Those are the things that shape me. And to me, she was a leader in her own right, being an immigrant coming here. So for me, I have no other option but to push for success, because they were able to be successful with what they had. So that's kind of what leadership, those are my ideas of leaders. But of course I can call out all the conventional ones, but frankly, that's not really what drives me.
Me either. I just think it's important to speak to those traits when we think about foundational. It's
Right.
General when we say that, but what were the specific traits or examples or things you really saw them do that what most people don't realize? They have leaders right there in their home or right there in their family or community. What are some of those specific memories? You mentioned 2 and 3 jobs, but is there anything else that comes to mind?
Well, I mean, the main thing that comes to mind is an example. I mean, to me, I think it's really about not just doing what I say, or it's really showing an example, whether it was through being, being a person of your word,
Yes.
or whether it's being that someone that you can count on.
Yes.
You know, it's being reliable.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
honesty and trust. So for me,
good.
as a leader, like, you have to embody those
love
things.
that.
People have to be able to count on you, that you will be present, and those are the traits. You know, it's the honesty. It's honestly, it's just the authentic person.
Yep.
It's that person showing up and being themselves. You don't have to wonder who this
Yes.
person is.
Yes.
And those are the characteristics that draw to me. And frankly, if we look at global leaders, if we even look at civil rights leaders like
Yes.
Martin Luther King, the key trait of most leaders, you know, overall, is being able to influence the many, to be able to
Yes.
do what to do, whether it's good or bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
A leader has to be able to influence someone to follow.
But I love that you really took it to the core values that many of us do have examples around, but we know that there are, unfortunately, some individuals or children that may have grown up without those examples in their home or without those examples in their community. What is your advice for someone that aspires to be a great leader that may have not had that foundation that you're speaking of?
Well, I really think it starts with yourself, right? And I think that you truly have to know that you're enough, right?
Yes.
Because what may be my strength may not be somebody else's strength. So I think you really, and I think when you truly take a step back and you assess yourself, right? You tune down the bad self-talk, the things that tell you that you're not enough and that you're not great. When you really hone in and see, you know, what am I good at? You know, what am I passionate about? What is something that I really, really enjoy to do?
Yes.
So once you get to those things and you get into those categories, then you can start shaping who you are. Because what I would say to someone that aspires to be a leader, you have to know who you are. Because the leader that I am may not be the leader that you are. Our paths are different, our journey's different. But once you've identified who you are and who you don't want to be, and I tell my kids this, you have to establish the bar, whether it's how you want to be treated, whether it's how far you want to go in your education, whether it's how far you want to go with the sport or whatever you like. Once you've created that picture and you have a vision of, hey, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to be, then it's about the work.
Yes.
Then as you're doing it, then it means something to you. But if you're really becoming a leader, whether it's in the corporate space, entrepreneur space, and you're doing it because someone else says this is what you should do, you're gonna lose momentum. Because in the moments that it gets hard, the only person that can drive you to keep on pushing through is gonna be you.
But so many people go through that. I mean, their
Absolutely.
parents want to, a lot of parents with good intention want to put their children on a certain career path or educational path. Was that the case for you? And what's your perspective on that, being a very high achieving mom?
Right.
If your child was saying that they have an interest in something that maybe, you know, you felt that maybe they were shying away from their gift. You may feel that they're great at something and they would be very successful at it, but
Right.
maybe they're shying away just because they haven't developed. I mean, what's your advice for parents, and what is your advice on that whole topic?
Well, I'm that mom in progress right now.
Okay.
And I grew up with that mom, right? I grew up with the mom that education was, that's it. Like there just nothing else that you should do but go to school. And being that, you know, we're from the Caribbean, yes, you're gonna go to school, you're gonna be a lawyer, you're gonna be a doctor, or you're gonna be in those categories, right? So for her, education was it. And frankly, as I started having children, that was my mindset as well. I mean, it frankly wasn't till I returned back to school and I was working on my bachelor's and then went to get my master's that I realized that, wow, had I taken this path in my 20s, I wouldn't have been successful, because it really wasn't what I wanted to do. You know, I think when it comes to school, it has to be something that you want to do, and there has to be something at the end. Not that education's not important, but there has to be something at the end. So I now have a different view when it comes to what it is that I want my kids to do. So I think whether it's with my kids or with my husband or friends, for example, my thing is that, hey, I have a vision, right? I see you through a different lens than you see yourself.
Right.
And so here's what I see. But whatever it is that you feel that you want for yourself, I'm going to support you. I may not agree. You know, I have a young adult, I have teenagers. So I'm going through that where what I think they should do is not what they think they should do. But I don't want to lose the connection in the process.
Correct.
Because I don't think I would have been successful if the people that were championing my journey wasn't there for me in the moments that I wasn't who
so
they
good.
believed that I should be. So, you know, I've always been just blessed with having just people in my corner that really believe that, hey, you know what? I believe you could do it, even if they don't see it. And that's what I think a parent or a partner or someone in any relationship can do.
Champion.
Champion.
In that. So, but have you ever gone against what your mom thought you should do and she still championed you in that?
Yes, I've gone against what my mom thought I should do a lot of times. But I think the thing is that, and she's expressed how she feels about it, right? The relationship that I had with my mom it was a direct relationship. I tell people now that I am great at taking criticism because I grew up in a house that if she didn't like it, she would tell us she didn't like it. It didn't have to make you feel good, but she was going to tell you what she thought. So I think the thing is, going against it, I still knew I was loved, right?
That's good.
I still knew that she wanted me to be successful. And so for me, in any interaction, in any relationship, I know the one thing that I have to do is somewhere in the disagreement, I've got to let this person know that, hey, I still care about you. You know, I still love you.
Even though I don't agree.
Even though I don't even know what you see. Even though I don't agree.
I think that is so key.
Yeah.
I think as a parent, I'm a parent.
Right.
Just focusing on the connection with our child or with a friend or anyone that we care about that connection with, reiterating this connection matters to me.
Right.
We may not see
Right.
the same thing, or I may see something different. And I think as we grow and mature, we do value some of those other perspectives and advice we were given.
Yeah.
We had to go kind of find out on our own.
Yeah.
But I think that's so key, the connection. And I think that most people do value the connection, but may not have the emotional intelligence or tools to understand the importance of expressing that connection. They may say, of course I wanted that, or of course I love you, of course I would still be here. But if your behavior or actions are not saying that, and you seem like you're completely dismissing the person or would disassociate because of the agreement, or they choose a different life path, then it's really not an assumption you can make if it's not felt. So I think the expression of it is important because it could feel different in different moments. Yeah, I think that's really great, Marnie. When you think about the topics as a speaker, I mean, you as a global speaker, what topics really, resonate within you and just that you're most passionate about?
I mean, I think it's just cultivating a leader, right? Fostering those strengths that will make somebody succeed. So, and the thing is, it's like sometimes just walking back, from, as I shared with you before, I transitioned to the U.S., migrated to the U.S. when I was 10 years old. I was not able to speak English till I was in high school. My middle school teacher communicated with me through signs. She didn't speak Creole, I didn't speak English. So, just kind of walking someone through that journey of a vision of what someone believe that a Haitian immigrant should be is not what we have to be. So I think it's just really to inspire, to have someone understand that, hey, you absolutely can be that person in a room where you understand nothing, where all you hear is sound, and be a person in the future that you are in the room and you understand why you're in the room and you have a voice in the room.
Yes.
So, and that's kind of where I'm at with
That's so
it. Yeah, it's just really, really sharing that, hey, because I think the thing is that we take a journey of whether it's realizing our dreams or career, whatever the path is. But for me, it's the reason I like that. I've loved being in a role where there are teams and I have to collaborate and there are people that I have to develop. It kind of gives you a sense of completeness because you have a vision of, okay, well, this is what I can do. And then you meet someone where you're like, you know what, the path that I took definitely can contribute to where you're going. So for me, as you know, getting to the space of being a speaker is just really to inspire people to know that whether it's you want to be in corporate America or you aspire to be an entrepreneur or there's something else that you want to do, that there is some accountability and there are some core skills that you yourself can foster that can help you to be successful. So it's just a conversation for me about sharing how I even got here. I mean, because some days I sit back and think about it myself, like, wow. And I think the part that I like the best is just forever evolving. So you know, like your question earlier, it's like I'm in that moment right now. I am a mom telling my kids what to do. You know, I'm in that corporate space, you know, trying to find a place where not just in the room, because I can say technically in my corporate career, I am in the room. Now is just making sure that my voice is in the room and I'm able to create impact with what I bring to the table.
And can you talk to us a little bit about your current role?
Sure.
How long have you been in that role? And if you could sum up the responsibilities and impact of the number of people you have direct influence on in that role.
So I have been with the organization that I've been with RICO for 23 years, and I have been in a leadership capacity for the entire time. I'm currently a director on the service delivery side, which is enterprise global accounts. I have a team of about 400 employees in the field. I have 12 direct leaders that report into me. My team supports legal global clients that have their law firms, large law firms in multiple states. Some of my accounts touch outside the US, and I am a people leader. And I have been a people leader my entire career. And that's what I do in the corporate space.
What would your team be surprised to know that you've struggled with or was a challenge for you as a leader in your position?
I'm pretty competitive, almost to a fault. So I think my team would have been surprised at one that failure was that I worried about failure because what they see is me always pushing through. You know, what they see is, you know, that is you're number 3 or you're number 1 or your team is the largest. So what they see is the outcome of the work. And what they hadn't seen, right, is what it took to get here. So I think if they saw you know, Marnie watching Sesame Street, trying to learning English, or Marnie having, you know, 3 siblings that were born here in the States that didn't speak a single word of Creole and spent several months communicating, and I had no idea what they were saying. And I think if they see, you know, the struggle that I have with my kids, they would be surprised. You know, they would be surprised. So I think that's kind of where we're at right now.
That's great though. That's really good, Marnie. And you know, I'm so inspired by the fact that You have such a massive role and just dynamic impact in your current organization, but there's still that desire to elevate your voice and your reach.
Right.
And knowing that more people need to hear Marnie's story and
Right.
the things that God put in your heart to help them reach their ultimate destiny and their
Right.
vision. Why now? Why is this the time for you to invest in really amplifying your voice?
Yeah, and I think for me, my husband and I had this conversation, and it was, why not now, right? And it actually just speaks to just my overall journey. I've, first it was, hey, address the education piece, right? You need to finish your degree, because what happens, right? What happens if you transition from your current role? Are you really prepared to take a step back? No. So here's what you need to do. This is the accountability piece, right, that I'm talking about as a leader. So it was self-accountability. So I had to address that piece. Then it was, okay, well, now that's done. For me, I have to feel like I'm changing and I'm evolving. That drives me. So I'm in a place now where I never say that I'm great at what I do, because I don't know what the challenge will come my way that I may not know. I think I'm pretty good at what I do. But I think the thing is that I feel that I'm in a place where I'm ready. My journey is really, frankly, is what's made me who I am today. And I don't know if it's a single story. I don't think it's just my story. I think there probably are a lot of people that have similar stories.
Yes.
But when I sit back and I say to myself, well, why not now? Why not have a conversation about, not growing, migrating to the States, being an immigrant? Why not have a conversation about not having the English language as your primary language? Why not have a conversation about being the first woman in your organization to be in a team where there's never been women? Why not talk about that you are the diversity in your group and have always been the diversity in your group for your entire career? Why not talk about that? Why not talk about the fact that that you demand excellence from not just yourself but your teams? And why not talk about it? I think that I think that my story could impact, but more importantly, I think it could really help someone to not go in that direction, right?
Yeah.
And I think the thing is, I like the fact that I don't know what the next step will be, but I'm excited either way, right?
Yes.
I'm excited either way.
I love that.
Yeah.
And if there's a young lady watching this or a young man watching this that, they do feel that the odds are stacked against them, they're facing the challenges, they're not getting the breaks that they would have hoped, they're working hard, and they do feel like they're the only one that represents diversity. They
Right.
feel alone. What's your message for that person? Because I do believe that they're going to see this. Someone is going to see this and be very grateful that you stepped up to do this. What is your message for that person?
Yeah. Well, faith has been my foundation. So I think the thing is that there has to be a way for you to be able to center yourself in that moment. And that has saved me. Being able to take a step back and really assess where I am. Because sometimes we're so focused on where we are currently, we forget that maybe the year before it wasn't as intense as it is this year. And I think the thing is, I remember one day having a conversation with one of the leaders saying, why do I always get the most broken accounts, accounts that are low performing, require so much work, high touch? Why do I always get those kind of accounts? And she said, Marnie, have you ever thought that you're good at it? I was like, you know what? You got a point. You got a point. And I think that's the thing. I think sometimes the moment that you're in, you're thinking, hey, I can't believe that I am in this moment, all this is happening to me. But as I look back, if I was going to tell the young me, you are equipped.
Yeah.
You were in that moment because, believe it or not, you were equipped. Walk through all of those situations, and somewhere, somehow, there has been always someone to either help you along, or you yourself were able to help yourself along. So for me, it's that you are equipped. You don't think you're equipped, but you are equipped. And sometimes it's not because you have all of it. It's just that there is just a portion of what you have that you're able to solve that problem. And that's why it's in your path.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. I am so excited for you and just the lives that you will continue to impact, and really stepping up with the intention to serve and inspire others. Are there any specific organizations that you think you definitely be a great partner for with your speaking platform, or women's organizations that you've aspired to serve or partner with?
Not necessarily. I mean, frankly, right now, I'm open.
Okay.
My education, right, speaks to the fact that I am in the business space. I have been in operations my entire career. I've also collaborated with sales teams. I've worked with global customers. I've worked with customers inside of the U.S. I've also worked with small teams, large teams. I've worked with diverse teams. So I think what I bring to the table is truly just a vast experience of how to establish effective relationships, whether it's a relationship as it relates to a contract, whether it's a process, or whether it's just developing a team. Just getting really to the root cause of how we can yield success. So I frankly feel any organization can benefit from that conversation.
Yes, I love that. Wow, Marnie. I mean, so talk to us a little bit about what makes this chapter so exciting for you on a personal note. Do you have a birthday coming up?
I do have a birthday coming up.
Do we have birthday plans, or are those a little hush hush?
You know what the crazy thing is? I started out with birthday plans. Then the universe happened, and the pandemic, started shifting again. And so my husband and I decided that, hey, you know what, we're just going to take a pause on the birthday plans. But I spoke to my mother-in-law the other day, and my mom as well. And I was like, you know what, it has just been such an intense 3.5 years with the pandemic, with working through return to work with my teams, with just, health and everything else, that I frankly just would like to sleep.
Okay.
I think
we can make that happen.
I would just like to not have my mind, my brain go through any type of anything. I would like to solve nothing. But to just rest.
I love that.
I'm excited about, about my birthday. I'm always excited about my birthday. So I'm hoping we'll still do the big plans, but right now I'm just kind of, it's going to be low key.
I think, when I think about this chapter and just watching how you have just been so intentional, that's the celebration for me watching you. I mean, stepping up to amplify your voice, to inspire someone else, to open your heart and your mind for whatever is headed your way.
Right.
And knowing you are equipped, but really walking what you talk,
Right.
You're living it. So it's not that you're seeking anything.
Right.
You're open to receive and you're open to serve. And I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Any final words, Miss Marnie? Besides, you want some sleep.
I think for me right now, it's just about evolving.
Yes.
It's important, and it has been, right, important to me to feel that I'm evolving, that I'm changing every year, I'm learning something. I always say to folks, I am a learner forever.
Yes, me too.
I am always excited when I learn something new. And I'm just excited. I'm excited about, impacting, someone's life. I'm excited about being in a space where my story can change someone. I'm excited about connecting with an organization that, my experience with processes and teams. I'm excited about what I'm doing currently in my existing role. I think that's the thing. For me, I'm 100% in,
Yes.
regardless of, whether it's my career, whether it's my kids, or whether it's my, my relationship with my husband. And I'm just excited. I'm thankful,
Yes.
for what I have been given so far. And I think what I said at the start of this year, to your original question, why not now? And the moment that I have said, I'm ready and I'm open, things are aligning. And I will, as I tell you, I will be ready. And I think if I'm gonna, my words to any leader is just be ready. Because you just don't know.
Right.
I mean, you don't know, what the call will be. And so just staying ready.
I know this interview is going to inspire so many people. I mean, we touched on topics that I didn't even realize that we would delve into. Just things that really just reignited me and inspired me as a mom, as a leader. Just really being intentional about that development. Just it's ongoing, right? Every experience helps us to develop and grow into our best selves. For those who see this, how can they connect with you if organizations want to bring you in as a speaker or as a consultant, if there are individuals watching who want to stay connected or just follow your journey? What's the best way for them to do that?
So you can definitely reach me on LinkedIn.
Okay,
so
perfect.
It's the good news is it's not many Marnie Morgans. So once you go on LinkedIn, and you'll be able to connect with me through Marnie Morgan. You also be able to eventually connect with me through MarnieMorgan.com.
Okay.
And so those are the two ways.
Nice.
That's you should be able to find me on that platform.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Marnie. It's been great speaking with you. Thank you too for just the impact that you've had on me. Thank you for being a speaker for our Global Leadership Activism Summit. I mean, it was really awesome to pivot when, the pandemic hit and we weren't able to have the leaders and mentors fly in from South Africa and St. Croix Virgin Islands and host here in Atlanta. We had all these major plans for 2020, but you were one of the leaders that stepped up and locked arms with us as a global speaker for that activism summit and had major impact from a faith-based perspective and really being grounded in your beliefs and what you walk and being transparent in your challenges and the things that you're facing as a woman, as a mom, sometimes as the only woman of color in the room. And so, just really hearing your strength, your humility, your authenticity, and the fact that, hey, if all you want is rest, like you're just keeping it 100, I love that about you. I'm sure we will make that happen for this birthday. I just appreciate having you in my life. And I love the fact that we're able to partner and support each other in this way. So thank you and happy birthday.
Thank you so much.